Hi friends, welcome or welcome back to my channel. I'm Katerina or Kat if you're new here, and this is my channel of everything cozy, bookish, and lifestyle related. And in this video, we're going to be doing a mid-year reading check-in. Cannot believe that we're already halfway through 2024 and that in less than a week and a half, we're going to be into the month of July fast. And so in this mid-year check-in, I really want to kind of give a reflection of how my reading has gone for this year. I want to give you guys an insight into my analytics. I love data and analytics, and I think that that's going to best show how my reading has gone thus far, as well as books that I really do want to read in the latter half of 2024. And also want to talk about the goals and reevaluating my reading goals that I had set at the beginning of this year. So with that, let's get into my mid-year reading reflection. I will be honest, I'm just not where I wanted to be with my reading this year. I feel like I am definitely behind on my reading goals, and I'm not saying it has been a terrible year. It's not the worst year I've ever had when it comes to reading, but it's definitely not been the best, and especially compared to last year in 2023, I feel like reading this year just hasn't been a focus of mine. I was hoping to have read a few more books than I thought I was going to be, and so it's definitely looking into the latter half of the year is really focusing on prioritizing reading, finding that love of reading again. So moving on from my reading reflection, let's now talk about data, analytics, and looking at a few graphs of where I am this year when it comes to my reading. This year in total, I have currently read a whopping total of 16 books. Usually by this time of year, I have read maybe 30 to 40 books. To kind of give you an idea of what those 16 books look like on a graph, let me put my reading glasses on here and let me tell you how my first half of the year has looked via analytics. And I use the story graph. So to throw up the graph for 2024, as you can see, 2024 has been very rough. January was an absolutely amazing month. It was a great start to 2024. In January, I had read over 10 books, and I honestly thought that that was going to continue for the rest of the year. But then February came around, and as you can see, I only read 3 books, and then from February onwards, it just continued to go downhill, and April and May, I read absolutely nothing, and then finally in June, I have read at least 2 books. Now, in compared to 2023, if I pop up that graph, as you can see, it was a very different, where in January in 2023, I started very low, and then in February and March it went up, but then as you can see from April, May, and June, it went down again. Now, this is something I've noticed quite often throughout the years, where April, May, June tend to be my lowest reading months, and then August through December tend to be my highest reading months. I'm hoping for the latter of 2024 to kind of match what it's been for the last 2 to 3 years, where I have an uptick in reading, but those are my analytics for 2024 compared to 2023. As I said, I'm hoping to read more here in the latter half of the year. Now, it all comes down to me. If I want to see that chart start to have an upward trend, I do need to start reading more and prioritizing reading more. Now, moving on to the books that I'm hoping to read in the latter half of the year of 2024, these books by no means are set in stone because I am a mood reader. I just don't want to set a TBR for myself and set myself up for failure. But these are just some books that I would really like to read. The first book that I would really like to read is a really popular classic, and it's one that I hear so many wonderful things about, and that is Donna Tartt's The Secret History. This is a book that I've wanted to get to for quite some time, and I'm still hoping to get to it in 2024. And then the next book is a popular TikTok book that I've heard really wonderful things about, and that is Powerless by Lauren Roberts. Heard wonderful things about this. Don't know much about it, but it's still one that I would like to get to this year. And then we have a sequel to a book that I absolutely devoured and loved last year, and that is The Ashes and the Star-Cursed King by Carissa Broadbent. I was very much so a fan of The Serpent and the Wings of Night, and I just love the story. And then another just YA fantasy that I've wanted to get to, and I've actually wanted to read it for quite some time after watching a few book recommendation videos, and that is Bonesmith by Nikki Pau Preto. Haven't had time to get around to it. I am hoping to get to it in the latter half of 2024, so fingers crossed. And then a final book, and one that I have been most excited about since the day that it's released, and it's one that I've talked about, I think, quite a few times, and that is Empire of the Dance by Jay Kristoff. I am obsessed with pretty much everything that Jay Kristoff writes. I loved Empire of the Vampire. I was obsessed with it. I think I read it in 2 days, and it is a chunker. I need to get to this. And to wrap up this video, let's talk about the reading goals that I will be focusing on for the latter half of the year. Now, most of the reading goals that I did set in my 2024 reset vlog are still valid and still ones that I'm working towards. However, a few of them I am going to be tweaking. So my first goal that I will be focusing on is just in general prioritizing reading and making time for reading. I do want to make sure that I'm prioritizing and getting in some reading each day. The second goal is to DNF a book if I'm just not feeling it. If I am not liking a book or I'm just not vibing with it and it's gonna cause me to go into an actual reading slump, I just need to stop what I'm reading and move on to something else. The third goal is a silly goal, but it's one that once again I really need to work towards, is instead of reaching for my phone, reach for a book. If I want to prioritize reading, reaching for my phone is not going to help me in any way, shape, or form. And then the fourth goal, and something that I have really accomplished this year and I want to continue to accomplish, is to continue utilizing my library for books. I've done really well at not buying books this year, and I just want to continue doing that just because I have so many books on my shelves that I haven't read yet that there's no point to continue adding to my shelf if I'm not reading them. So with that, in general, my reading for the first half of the year hasn't been the greatest, and I acknowledge that there are things that I probably could have done differently to have a better start to my reading year and to really prioritize reading. But at the end of the day, I'm just hoping to continue to strive to read more. So if you enjoyed this video, make sure you give it a thumbs up. If you have any specific reading goals that you want to focus on for the latter half of 2024, definitely let me know in the comments below. And also make sure to subscribe to my channel for new videos. I'll see you guys in my next video. Bye!